Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the transit Sun in Leo. Well, anyway, first thing I see when the Sun transits Leo, this is a time where you might find even the more reticent, more introverted people much more extroverted or gregarious, or at least a little bit more so than they are ordinarily. It could bring the person that really is dominated by their home life more out into the world, so to speak. Keep in mind that the Sun is making its transition from Cancer into Leo. So it goes from that state where people may very well be collectively more dominated by their family in many cases in their home life, and then when it goes into Leo, it's more about, well, going out, being more sociable, being gregarious, being extroverted, and also it could be more strongly connected with attention. I think what's interesting is that the NFL preseason starts when the Sun is in Leo. And when this happens, okay, now I understand the main thing is to win and this and that, but the reality is in the preseason, what the players on teams are trying to do, they're trying to often win first a starting position, or at very least a position on the team, and they're trying to show their coaches what they're made of. So it's more centered on me, this kind of action, as opposed to the team. They're really, the focal point for a lot of those players is not really the collective good of the team. It's really more about, it's kind of that me kind of motto, so to speak. So, and I think a lot of that could be attributed to the fact that the Sun is transiting Leo during the time. People are going to be a little bit more egocentric collectively when the Sun is in Leo. I find it interesting that in many places when the Sun is in Leo, I mean, when the Sun is in Leo, I mean, you're in the thick of the summer. This is a time where you have a lot of people going to beaches. They're kind of flaunting their stuff, so to speak. There's people in women in bikinis, and you have people really in a lot of cases they're kind of showing off their physique. And really, I mean, Leo is the sign connected with showing off, with showing people what they're about, and it's more attention seeking. It's about getting attention, and this could be a time to where more people might be more into Leo-like things, such as the theater, such as going to movies. I find what's interesting too about when the Sun transits Leo, it could be a little bit more about extravagance. Now, even the people that are generally more frugal and ones that hold on to their money very frequently, they could even be a little bit more extravagant and more about splurging during this period than they are ordinarily. And during this period, and at least where I had grown up in the United States, I thought was interesting, and I'm sure a number of other locations as well, is that when the Sun is in Leo, it could be a time where parents are purchasing a lot of school items for their kids. And the thing is that a lot of this can be extravagant purchases. It might not be spending a lot on individual items, but the totality, the total of what they spend, a lot of times could come up to a pretty good amount. So, and I find that interesting. And then, of course, the Sun during the time, at least in New York where I went to school, the Sun would be in Virgo when you'd actually go back to school, and sure enough, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and it could be connected with things that are scholastic and trying to learn and assimilate information. And I find it interesting when you have that transition from Leo to Virgo. But anyway, it's really a time when you look at the Sun in Leo, I think it could be more about pride with others as well. I think people take more pride in the things they do. And the thing too is, I think another thing that's interesting about the Sun being in Leo, as I stated before, this is the thick of summer when the Sun is in Leo. It's that middle sign as far as the Sun as far as the summer goes, because of course, as you know, the sun enters Cancer, that's the beginning part of summer. When the sun enters Virgo, that's its final month of summer. But Leo is right in the middle. It's right at the center. Leo likes to be the center of attention as well. But I think what's interesting too is that even, when people are out in the sun, you have the weather very hot in a lot of places during this time of year. When the sun is transiting Leo, a lot of people will get kind of a reddish complexion to their face, sometimes even sunburn. And what's interesting is, and I think with a lot of Leos, people that actually have the sun or ascendant in Leo in their natal charts can have a little ruddy or reddish complexion or tone to their skin. So I thought that was an interesting thing as well, and I think there may be a correlation with that actually. So anyway, it's also important to look at the house that the sun in Leo is transiting in your natal chart, because this could impact the transit and show what sector of life this energy is going into. So let's say, for example, that the sun in Leo, the transiting sun in Leo is transiting your 7th house, and this could be a time where you might be seeking be more extroverted and gregarious in your relationships, and it might be a time where you might want to stand out in these matters connected with your relationships, and get more attention with those people that you're involved with in relationships. And it could be where pride might be readily shown more, really in matters. The 7th house is also your open enemies and adversaries, and this could be a time where you might show a little bit more pride, or be hurt a little. Your pride might be hurt a little bit more through some kind of perhaps damage from open enemies or adversaries. And another thing is, let's say, for example, it's important to look at the aspects that are made to your natal planets and points from this transit, as this could impact the transit. Now, let's say, for example, that the transiting sun in Leo is making a sextile or trine to your natal Mars. Well, this could be auspicious for having a vitality and energy to initiate or embark on projects. And being in Leo, it could be tied for something connected with recognition. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the transit sun in Leo, and stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about the transit sun in Virgo. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.